go.
Sounds good. So how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay.
That's good. Thank you again for the wedding invitation.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Okay, we should be streaming now.
You are. We're live.
Okay, for some reason, a couple things aren't showing up. I don't know what the deal is. Let's see, did you want to do your video this week?
Oh no, I forgot to shave this morning.
Okay.
I'm all scruffy and gross.
Alright. Why is my video not working?
I have no idea.
Well, shoot. If it's not one thing, it's another.
Yep. But I can hear the music, and I can hear me, and I can hear you. So there's that, I suppose.
Well, that's very weird. So I'm trying to add the video device, and it's just not showing up.
OBS fails once again.
Yeah, I don't know if, I mean, I guess it's OBS, but let me see if I can unplug and replug it or something. Hey everyone, we're here, sort of. We're trying.
We are
Okay,
here.
I think unplugging and replugging worked there.
Okay.
Okay, so now the only problem is we don't have a double drop logo.
Well, that's too bad.
So
And
I can find that
they
pretty quick,
get you in double actually. From what it looks like. There's view where the doubles drop. Oh, no, never mind. Got it. Good job.
Yeah, actually, I just rearranged a bunch of stuff on Dropbox now. It's probably gonna take me a second to find it here.
It's all cool. I beat the Binding of Isaac, kind of, almost.
Is that the first one or the remake?
Oh, Rebirth, sorry. At this point I just call it Binding of Isaac. I should probably just call it Rebirth, but yeah. I've beaten everything I need to beat for all the characters. I only have 2 more achievements and 2 more items to get. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got what I wanted to get done before Afterbirth was announced, so the other 2 achievements I have to get are kind of obnoxious and annoying, so they're not skill related, they're just luck related, so I'll just
Okay, we got a logo here, but it's just ginormous, so adjusted.
It is ginormous, yes. But yeah, I beat the boss rush with Lost, so
You beat what?
the boss rush.
Oh, cool.
If you beat all, I mean you've played Binding of Isaac before, right?
Yeah, just not a ton.
So if you get the mom fight where it's like a room and like eyeballs and hands shoot out of the walls and the Bigfoot tries to step on you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, if you reach that under 20 minutes in Rebirth, you can do a boss rush, which is all the original bosses, like 2 at a time. Which is pretty cool. But to like unlock all the items for the Lost, you have to beat the boss rush, Blue Baby, Isaac, Mom's Heart, the Lamb, and Satan. And I had done everything but boss rush, and finally got to do that with like the weakest build.
So I think I finally figured out how to turn you up. I'm using audio hijack and fiddling with I was able to turn the gain up so I can actually hear you a little better now.
Oh, good. So you have something to show off in the, I guess the new element thing that you got there.
Yeah. So if we didn't mention this before, well, you and I have been working on a big elemental update to send out to Kickstarter backers and just on to everyone.
I need to finish that tonight or tomorrow.
Well, and I was supposed to work on some of it too. So I thought it would be cool for that and for other just promotional purposes to do these. Well, over here I've been working on these different effects for just kind of a style sheet for us, and I didn't quite finish all of them, but we've kind of done that off and on for for a few weeks. But I thought, like, actually it almost makes just as much sense for me to do these sort of things, and it looks really cool with the little logo. So I was basically going to make one of these for each element as kind of a banner, and then underneath it here we could talk about what the element does and what's the lore behind it and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, I
it would
think
just
that's
be
cool.
What's that?
I said that's really cool.
And so we could even do it, with or without the name, depending. So, the one thing that is kind of funny to me, like these, it looks like some kind of like it makes me think of tribal tattoos or something. I guess especially Fury a little bit, but
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm just imagining someone with a tramp stamp of one of these.
That's pretty funny.
The Rogue probably has one. I don't know.
Go Rogue. As in go.
Like,
The
get it,
Rogue.
girl.
Go.
Is that
Yeah.
kind of what you're going for there?
Yeah. There you go. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be doing promotional deals with companies using Delver's Drop characters.
Yeah, the Rogue will get a tramp stamp of your company logo for cross promotion.
For a moderate fee. Billboards will be put in the game on sides of the walls.
I'm trying to remember now,
Taco
like
Bell.
there were a couple of games, I'm sure, like mostly in the 90s, but that probably had some advertisement with the game logo as some girl's tramp stamp. I'm glad we've mostly left those days behind.
I imagine Tony Hawk had something like that.
Or one of the GTAs earlier on. GTA's cleaned itself up a little bit as time has gone on.
Has it?
At least they're like, I think their presentation of like their promotional materials and stuff.
Oh, okay, I would say I'm pretty sure you can still buy a hooker, shoot it in the face, and then move along with your day. I don't know if that's cleaning its image up any.
But I mean, they're basically, yeah. Well, okay, so they haven't cleaned up the stuff you can do in the open world. Like that's not any more PC or however you want to put it than it ever was. But they're definitely telling way more of a story these days, like to the point that they're basically making like what seems like they're writing like a season of The Wire as like the storyline for the game. Of course not, that's not what a lot of people play for, but it's interesting that they put that much work into the story.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to drive around and blow stuff
beat up people and kill stuff. But that's what the online mode is for. But even the online mode they do. I mean, I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I'm not a big fan of open world games, really. And I'm definitely. I mean, I don't know. I think I have a different philosophy towards gaming, and I think I always have than the mainstream. I've never seen a video game as power, or you know what I'm trying to say, like a wish fulfillment sort of thing.
Yeah, wish fulfillment, power fantasy.
Yeah, I reject both assertions pretty strongly.
Yeah, because you play Dark Souls, which is like a disempowerment fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of think for a lot of people it's both. It's like, wow, this game is really hard, but once you beat a boss, it's like, yeah, this feels really good.
Yeah.
But I don't want, I don't want to be those characters. I don't want to be the big swarthy, warrior, like awesome mage. I don't play it in that way. I play it more as immersion of I want to be in that world. Not so much I want to be those people, but I want to be, an actor in that world.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it more as I don't know, just I guess more of an entertainment form than that. I mean, I certainly understand that there are people who play those. I understand that people play like Mass Effect because they want to be Commander Shepard. They want to be this badass Space Marine character. I understand that there are people who play it that way, but I don't. I think that a lot of people think that's the only reason people play video games. and
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I mean,
Yeah,
what?
it's
Go ahead. Sorry.
well, I don't know. I was kind of like, I didn't really have a very clear train of thought, but I think it's interesting that a lot of games have so much of both. It's like, they to hit the, well, and like I kind of, I think even if you enjoy the immersion, like I think that it's kind of like they're putting a little like sugar, or what's the a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down kind of thing. Like they're kind of putting sugar in our medicine one way or another. So it's like, if you like the or putting medicine in the sugar, I guess maybe is a better way to put it. But it's like, if you like the empowerment fantasy, then they've got some story to go with it, and so they actually try to tell a compelling story most of the time, or at least for like AAA games. Or if it's, if it's a game kind of like Dark Souls, where it's I mean, there is some empowerment fantasy, but it's also about this like immersion in this world that has a really kind of deep and tragic story. Then the empowerment is just kind of to like it's you wonder like which came first. It's like for the developer, is the story is probably more important for From, I think, but they kind of know they have to allow you to become powerful, and that's also part of the story.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess my question is, what kind of wish fulfillment does Tetris provide?
Well, and I think a game like that's more abstract, not, there's no story about you or no kind of narrative to you becoming more powerful. It's just like, it's a skill-based game in the sense that all there is to it is kind of like the improvement of your skill. Like, so the, I guess the empowerment comes from just like greater mastery or higher scores. And that's, that's what most games used to be. I guess, like, I think you really kind of have to have a character or an avatar to have a sense of, like, empowerment fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true.
Like, even if you're, like, flying around in a, Galaga game, like, I don't know that there's... I guess there's a little bit of empowerment to the fact that you're essentially like a flying gun. Shooting at things, but because I think just the idea of shooting stuff is kind of empowering, but I wouldn't call it an empowerment fantasy necessarily. Like, that almost straddles the line, because your avatar is not very human. It's hard to feel like, oh yeah, like I became such a badass in Galaga. It's like like I'm good at Galaga,
Right.
Whereas people talk about like their MMO character is, like that's like the farthest you can go in terms of kind of empowerment is like, oh, look at me and my level 40 blood dragon sword of the wraith of that's flickering with fire as I prance around this.
Yeah, I mean, I never played MMOs like that either. I was always more of as a social network, really.
Yeah, but they are designed very much that
absolutely
way.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Like I said, I understand that there is that sort of philosophy in game making. I just kind of, I guess, reject it because I'm a troublemaker.
Yeah. And well, I think it is kind of interesting that gaming is like something like Call of Duty is, I think, like very like there's like the skill is in service of an empowerment fantasy. So like as you're building your skill, you are like, people know you by name, and like you have a record that kind of says, I'm a badass, or I suck, or whatever it says. But so it's like you're building a skill in order to kind of fulfill that desire of self-empowerment. Whereas I mean, something like Binding of Isaac or Delver's Drop or whatever, there's I think there is some sense of empowerment to just like progressing your character or finding the cool stuff, but it's more of a skill-based game, and a it's like, I guess, an achievement kind of for its own sake, as opposed to like a achievement in the like you're building skill to achieve the goal that the game sets out, rather than to achieve kind of your own wish fulfillment or whatever.
Right. Makes sense. You should do the Merc one next, and the Radiant one
Okay.
of the banners. Yeah. And Doom says the sword doesn't really make me feel empowered, though. Right. I mean, that's kind of where I come in on it. It's just like the things that are obviously intended to make me feel empowered don't actually do it.
Well, I would argue that both guns and swords are very phallic and are therefore inherently, like, just symbolically and culturally empowering.
Sure, sure. I don't. The thing is, I guess I don't go with the culture for whatever reason. I mean, I've handled both in serious capacity. I don't feel. I never felt powerful shooting a gun. I never felt powerful swinging a sword around. I felt more scared than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a disconnect of, like, most people who play video games don't go to the shooting range or learn how to use weapons.
Well, I don't know. Around here, that's...
Well, yeah, I mean, you're on the border of the South, so it's possible. But, I mean, I think there's a lot of gamers who don't use weapons.
Yeah.
They collect weapons, but,
or whatever.
yeah. They either collect, like, the joke swords. I don't want to be disrespectful, but, you know, the things like, oh, well, I own Bloodborne in the real world. It's like, yeah, that's not really a sword. You can't use that.
Yeah, it would not hold up in a combat situation against another, like, against a real sword.
Yeah, against a real sword. But my brother did kendo. I did iaido for a little while. I mean, really, you know, using swords, and I don't know. There's just this. Maybe I'm weird, but touching a weapon that's designed for the single purpose of taking life is not something that makes me feel powerful. It's something that makes me feel cautious and scared. It's like, what could I possibly do with this? Oh, I know what I could do with this. I could go down and mow down a bank or something. Not that I would do that, people of the stream. Now that the NSA is listening, we've tripled our viewership there. Hi, NSA. And Doom says, screw these fake swords. I mean, I don't see a point to them, but I don't have any art, so... And I think that's what they mostly are, is I think that they're art.
Yeah.
Don't think they're... I don't think most people buy them to think that they're real weapons.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like... somewhere between, like, decorative and... I mean, even the Japanese had decorative swords like that. You know, they were probably much more functional than these, but, you know, there were a lot of swords that wouldn't really be used in combat situations.
Yep. Jim asks if I would be robbing the National Bank of Arizona, which we don't have a national bank, but with a Zweihander. I don't think I could lift a Zweihander, in all honesty, so no, probably not a Zweihander. Maybe like a Kukri blade or something like that. That's more my size and speed. I wouldn't mind having a Zweihander, that'd be fun. But I don't know what I would do with it, because again, I'm not really into decoration.
I'm gonna have to have Nathan Lee write some more music just so we have something else to listen to on the stream.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. He does good work. Did he finish all the the soundtrack for Delver's Drop already?
I think there are a few outstanding items, but most of these zones are done. It would be awesome if we could throw a little more money his way at some point and like add a little more variety, or add like a few more kind of track variants, or you know, like basically add another couple minutes to each track with like an alternate theme or something. We already kind of have sort of an alternate theme, but it's not like a totally different melody or anything. Which we originally were talking about doing, like almost two different totally different songs per zone, maybe just kind of in the same key and similar mood, but to add a lot more variety. But you know, we just decided, like, yeah, that was kind of overkill.
Doom says European swords Bastard swords in particular sometimes had scenes or scriptures etched into the blade, so you take note for that for Delver's Drop Baker.
Take note for what?
Like etchings on blades. I don't know how well you could like show that off with how the sprites work, but
oh yeah, it gets pretty difficult. I mean, we could. I guess the thing I realize is that you, well, just there was no opportunity in the game to show weapons at anywhere near their full resolution. They're always really small, and I do want to maybe make them look a little larger in the character's hand where we can. So, like, basically it's just when you're working on a game like this and you're drawing art at high res, it's really difficult to kind of wrap your brain around how big this feels in the game. So we made knives that we're drawing like, you know, the size of our screen, just because it's easier to draw that way. But then you get in the game and you can't even see the thing, because the attack is so quick and the knife is so small that you just like, you know, it looks like a little stick in the character's hand or something. So I really want to bulk those up, make them thicker, if not, you know, maybe make everything a little bit longer overall, because even just like another 10 pixels would give a lot of visibility. And so there's this balance of like aesthetics versus gameplay and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, well, I had this up earlier, so I might as well open it up really quick and show you what I was kind of kicking around. Because we still have some UI revision type stuff to implement. And what we had been doing is showing the full weapon sprite in the UI. And we talked a couple times about just showing the weapon icon, because I think a long time ago we showed all those weapon icons we made, and those were going to be used in the menus. What I'm thinking about doing now, this is a mock-up of the screen. I was trying out some additional stuff with like parts of this aren't finished, but like shrinking the hearts a little bit so they take up less space, but we could theoretically have more hearts. Also showing like how we'd have kind of pop-up messages, and I was also testing a new font or two that we haven't put in the game yet, and then I need to finish this UI for different keys and stuff. But so we did have these full images of weapons like that down in the UI, but they got so small it was hard to tell what they were, and also things like spears would be compressed because we couldn't fit a full spear haft at full length in the UI. And so I think what we're going to do is display these as icons like this in the UI itself. And I'm not adding slots, I was just trying a bunch of different variants here and showing what it would look like if we showed like the arrow key you would use to, you know, for this one you press the left arrow to swap to that on control pad, or press number 1 on the keyboard. So you'd have the icon here, and whichever one you equipped, like you'd click and it would have this little white highlight underneath it, and then the button would go away, and it would probably enlarge a little more too. Like I should probably scale this up a little bit more. So something like that. So whichever one you select enlarges, and then the moment you click on it, the actual weapon sprite at full res kind of flies out of the side of the screen like shoom, and does like a little spin or something, and then flies back off. So it's just like ka-chink, you know, and it flies on, disappears. So anytime you're swapping weapons, you see this big sprite. So if you've forgotten what it is, you can kind of tell at a glance, like, oh yeah, that was that crappy reddish looking axe. I don't want to use that. I want to switch to a different one. And I think that makes it a little more accessible. And we're also, we've never really gotten around to implementing the kind of color coding or the tier identification for weapons. So we're going to be making sure that gets in, so you can tell, like, you know, which are your good and which are your bad weapons. Unfortunately, this is one aspect where, like, basically we were starting to get the UI really cluttered, and so I'm thinking that we won't show, unless you have one selected. Like the one you have selected will show its tier and its name, but the ones you don't have selected, we're just going to show the tier through color. So unfortunately, that's one thing that for people with color blindness, it'll be difficult to tell at a glance what tier the weapons in your UI are. But if you select it, it will show, you know, actually show this little flag here. That's the tier number.
Is there any way to display a symbol for the tier?
Oh, well, we went through a bunch of rounds of stuff for that, and it just like it made this this whole area so complicated.
Okay.
So Yeah, I finally just took the path of like, okay, we just need to remove some of this stuff because really, I think what you need to know when you're running around most of the time is, roughly you're going to kind of memorize what slot the weapons you like are in if you use them a lot.
Hmm.
And then you just need to know, like more than the tier, you need to know what damage type does this do. So I'm going to have the fiery sort of pattern, actually the same fire I'm making right now, in the background behind the weapon. And then what kind of ammo refills it, or is it my primary, this would be an example of a primary, so it has a star. But this would be, well, this isn't right for swords, but this would take mallets. Mallets are the ammo, so to speak, for most crushing weapons, like hammers and things like that. You would pick up a mallet, and the idea is that it kind of like bends it back into shape, or refines it.
Right.
And so for most swords, it would be some kind of a whetstone.
Right.
So you have it. So that way we have those kind of flash. Every time you pick up a piece of ammo, that little symbol on anything that refills will flash or enlarge or something, so oh, those 3 weapons of mine just got refilled. And that's something that was going to be super, like from the test we did, it was pretty unintuitive to people. They didn't really know how much they had left of any given weapon, when it was refilling. Like there were a lot of things that people were confused about, kind of the limited usage, because most of the time, well, they see this game and they think Zelda, where all weapons are pretty much infinite except the bow and arrow.
Right.
And so coming up with a way to kind of help people understand the use and refill. And then for the primary weapons, which never get used up, I just did this double circle and the star, so that you can tell what that is. So, anyway, I forget kind of how we started talking about that. What were you were asking, like about symbols on blades. So I guess in this case, this weapon might be big enough on this screen that you could actually kind of see a symbol on the blade, but I am going to have to double check, because this is probably blown up to like 200% of the game res, so it might start getting a little bit blurry.
Yeah.
So we'll have to kind of balance that and, make sure. I mean, because I can, in theory, save the weapons at slightly higher res than other assets. It kind of becomes a pain to manage, and it's more texture space too. So that's going to be a balancing act.
June wants to know if we'll be able to stuff and fold away things at a press. After a while, he won't be in the need to constantly check. Like disable stuff, I guess.
Oh, disable stuff in the UI?
Yeah.
I really want to have just 2 options if possible, so that it's not complicated for us to develop and not complicated for people to understand. But yeah, it's saving. Well, I guess I just closed that file.
Like, I know for me, when I'm playing a game like Isaac, when I'm new, I check the UI a lot, but when I get really, a lot of time in the game, I really don't even notice the UI all that much. Like, I just know.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about doing is when you pick up an item, like when you equip it off the ground, or when you change your selection, the weapon kind of flies out and the name appears, but then those 2 vanish, so you're left with this basically. So
I see what Doom's asking. What he means in like fold in, fold out is like in Isaac you have this mini map in the top right corner of your screen, and if you hit select on the controller, I don't know what button it is on the keyboard because I don't use keyboard for the game, but it like pulls it out and you can see a bigger.
Yeah, and we've talked about putting a mini map over here somewhere. And now that we're randomly generating much more of the game, we could basically take those rooms and kind of generate them as like a pixel grid. So yeah, we will have some kind of mini map. I'm not. I think for the default view, you'll kind of see like. I'm not sure. I would like to condense it a little bit, so it might just be like really little squares, so you kind of just see room connections, like rough room connections from one to another, and you don't see the full room shape. But if you toggle it on, you would see like a bigger map. So I'm not totally sure yet.
See, now I remember when you guys first brought up the minimap. I'm against the minimap in Delver's Drop.
Well, I think having a mini map to show rooms you visited is a good thing. Like it's really easy to get lost.
I think it pampers players, and I think it's a bad idea. Because if you can't remember where you're going, then you deserve to get lost. That's how I feel. I'm exaggerating my dislike of the minimap.
I mean, with a few of those sort of things, we've talked about compromises where, maybe it could be an item that displays the minimap that's easy to get but takes up some kind of slot, or, something like that.
See, my opinion is if the cartographer isn't in the game, then no one deserves a minimap. It's my way of not so silent protest. No, I mean, I can understand. Even Doom is saying D-Drop needs a minimap, otherwise other people will go crazy, which I agree. I mean, I understand why there needs to be a minimap, but just trying to bring the humor. Most people don't even know what I'm talking about when I talk about the cartographer, so. Which is a shame. I'm really sad he didn't get into the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, the cartographer was never even on the list for voting, I guess. So he totally
it
got
was when you released like the 36 to 40 character ideas you guys had drawn up.
Oh yeah.
The forum was like, which one's this guy? And you're like, oh well, he's the cartographer. We're like, what would he do? And he's like, oh, like, maps and stuff. And we're like, well, yeah. And then you like talk about him like being a mime with like no real attack, and we're like, oh my god, that sounds amazing. We want that like right away.
Well, and of course the forums also love the Bard, which got very few votes by the general populace.
That's the second to least number of votes, which was weird.
And I just want to make the Bone Wardens. Like that's my new favorite everything. So for those listening and hearing this for the first time, the Bone Wardens are this class I made, or this guild I made up for kind of future use, because there's supposed to be 12 guilds in the world. So we may mention them. We don't currently have any plans for any characters outside of the ones we've announced on Kickstarter. We might do expansion, something like that. The Bard would probably be in an expansion, but I would love to do the Bone Wardens, which they're basically like Ned and Zed from Borderlands.
Yeah.
Sort of like, they might cut your arm off to save your life, without doing adequate research to see if you really need an amputation or not.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sure Doom would be like really excited to have a Bone Warden class. He likes them a lot. I mean, I'd like the Bard. I'd like to see a class from each of the guilds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, I'd be pretty happy. Pretty sure the Compass Stars would be cool, even if it wasn't the cartographer. The list you sent me of like other classes that would be in there was cool. A lot of options.
Yeah, they've been kind of my catch-all for anything that seems like a desk job. Yeah, the map makers, the sort of tacticians. But the idea is, they're kind of all about like wayfinding and calculation. So I guess if there were the Final Fantasy Tactics calculator of Delver's Drop, they would probably be in that guild.
Right. And would be overpowered in a game like Delver's Drop.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're just punching a button and like anything on the screen with a certain multiple of 2 in one of their stats takes damage. I mean, like, yeah, it definitely doesn't really work for an action game. You'd just be spamming it and hoping something happens.
Yeah, could be fun. Could be.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting item. I mean, it would have to be like very limited use and difficult to program, obviously, but.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare, I'm sure. Kobe's up to the task. He doesn't have enough work. Make him work harder.
He would probably pass that task to Aaron.
Probably. I wouldn't blame him.
Does that sound about right, Aaron? I was saying, well, it might take a while to explain. I was saying, do you know the calculators in Final Fantasy Tactics? Did you ever play that game?
I never actually played.
Okay, it might
Heresy.
be too much explaining. I was basically saying that Kobe would probably have you, if there were a class that did that kind of ability, Kobe would have you do it. Because
You have to fire Aaron immediately. He can't continue to work in your company.
Because he didn't play Final Fantasy
Yeah,
Tactics.
he hasn't played Final Fantasy Tactics.
Well, he has played more hours in the Dark Souls games than I think all of us combined, so he can stay.
I don't know about that. I think if we count Doomin, I think we have him beat.
Oh, I guess that's probably true. I meant more like all of us here, maybe even plus you, but
I think I only have like 100 hours in Dark Souls.
yeah,
I don't think I have.
I have like 6.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if Matthew or Nathan have ever even played it, so.
I'm trying. I actually put in a little bit of time last night, but then I got my fiance's off work phone call, so I had to go hang out with her for a bit.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Hmm.
I'm teasing. As it sounds like a nightmare not being able to play video games. You have to hang out with your fiance.
Well, last night was the first night in a long time I played video games, but I played some Nuclear Throne later in the evening, so that was.
Oh yeah, how are you liking that?
I had played a little bit before. Like I don't know. I'm a little. It definitely teaches me some good things about game design, but and some things I would kind of like to apply to Delvers, but it's definitely not my favorite game. Like I think just the kind of WASD to move and stick to shoot sort of thing, I just haven't put enough hours in to have like full mastery of that kind of control scheme, because I'm more of a traditional kind of console controller player, which I know there's the option and I should probably try it out, but I feel like that would actually be worse using a controller for Nuclear Throne.
Yeah, I've tried it before. It's not very streamlined.
But I need to try it now that they have support to see if we can learn any lessons for Delvers, since we're doing kind of controller as the primary scheme. Like thinking about controller first and then sort of adapting to mouse and keyboard. I mean, we're trying to make them both equally as important, but my assumption is that we're probably going to have more people on controller by the time.
I started with keyboard and mouse for Delver's Drop, but I moved to controller.
Yeah. And I think when
like
people
better.
see something that looks that much like Zelda and is not a twin stick sort of game like BOI or Nuclear Throne, I think the instinct is going to be more to go for controller, unless they're like a super, if they're like a traditional PC gamer, then they'll probably just stick with keyboard.
Obligatory mention of you need to keep your eye on free aim with mouse controller.
Keep my eye on it to make sure it's not broken, or
to make sure that it's not completely broken.
Yeah, Kobe's supposed to be working on it. I think he's still stuck on some physics nightmare. Speaking of which, I have been thinking about moving the stream to Saturdays because we actually at this point tend to have more people working on Saturdays than on Fridays. So I didn't know how people felt about that.
I mean, it doesn't do much for me. I would just move my Saturdays. I mean, I just stream on Fridays myself and not stream on Fridays with you.
Yeah, because I think originally it was the other way. Like weren't you originally streaming on Fridays, and then we took.
I was streaming on both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, I guess it doesn't impact me at all. I would do an extra stream, even if I needed to. So, but I was just saying for your sake. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? Tactician is like the scribe or cartographer. In what way, Matthew? Also, 12 zodiac signs. Yes, there is a bit of that. I guess he's saying there's some parallels in Delver's Drop to Tactics.
Yeah, he sent me a message that just said Zodiac Guilds a minute ago.
Yeah. Zodiac signs in Final Fantasy Tactics were kind of unnecessary.
Some
didn't
people
do
really
too
got
much.
into it, or I guess like Brave and Faith. Like I never really even paid all that much attention to Brave and Faith, and I probably should have, but it's just like,
They determined like the strength of magic and stuff.
right. So
Used
that's
in Final Fantasy 12 too. Yeah, because Final Fantasy 12 is in the Evilance Alliance series, same universe, so it made sense. Yeah. Final Fantasy 12, its spin-off. Both tactics games, I believe, were in Evilance, and obviously
Well,
tactics. And then there was another game.
There was Tactics, Tactics Advance, Final Fantasy. Well, it's I mean the newest MMO, 14, is set in Ivalice as well.
Is it
I
really?
believe, and isn't it set in Ivalice? No, it's based on that. The whole, like, it's got the similar races and stuff, right? Am I totally making that up?
Final Fantasy 14 is like visually very similar to Final Fantasy 11, and Ivalice has never been mentioned in it ever.
Okay, I could have sworn. Well, I know it's got the same artist that worked on all the Ivalice Alliance games.
It takes place in a realm called Eorzea on a planet called Isaac.
Okay, so Aaron basically said I'm totally wrong about everything.
Okay, so the games that are in the Evilance Alliance is Tactics, Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy Tactics
Oh,
Advance, 12, Advance 2, Grimoire of the Rift, Revenant Wings, which is the spin-off of
Yeah,
12,
it's kind of a real-time strategy sort of thing.
Crystal Defenders,
Oh yeah.
Crystal Defenders Storm, Dive 2, Hunt, The Adventures of Sorbet, and then Final Fantasy Tactics S, which is a mobile game.
I think
Those
maybe
are
I
all-
just assumed that 14 was set in Ivalice because I saw the like races that looked very similar to the races in the Tactics Advance games, like the
Yeah,
Bunga and the girls with rabbit ears or
yeah, the
whatever they are.
people, which I totally forget what they're called, but yes. Yeah. The new Final Fantasy is not based on Evilance or Crystal Chronicles. I went to the wiki, and Final Fantasy S is part of the Evilance Alliance, according to it.
What is Final Fantasy S?
It's a mobile platform game.
Oh,
It is listed in the Evilance Alliance, Evil-Ace, however you pronounce it. The game features more than 30 playable jobs for Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's for iOS and Android. They have like Sky Pirate and stuff. Doom's also saying Crystal Chronicles is good for a top-down perspective game. I never got into it. Seemed kind of goofy.
I kind of wish I had people to play that with, or would have, you know, I like own one of the ones on GameCube or whatever, but never really
Yeah.
got around to playing it.
Yeah, you need you need players for it, and I didn't have 4 people who wanted to play it with me, so I didn't
And that
really
was
get
kind of
into
during
it.
college when I guess had equally not as much time to play games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Doom is saying that the new MMO isn't part of Evil-Ace, which is true. Born Under a Certain Star is a cool way to justify special stuff. Well, I mean, it's definitely, you know, fantasy themed with that. Born Under an Ominous Star. Also quite Eastern, but I suppose it's also parallel in Western stuff as well. There it says Splendor. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Splendor. I think that's the
Did I
finalized name
misspell
for it.
something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No?
Someone was just asking. Yeah, I guess we did change it from Radiant to Splendor. I'm pretty
Yeah.
pretty well decided on that one, I think.
Apparently, you don't need 4 players for Crystal Chronicles. I always thought. I mean, I know you can play it single player, but it seems like a game that'd be a lot more interesting and fun with 4.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XII also is the lord of trolling players with chests. I bought Final Fantasy XII, played it for a day and a half, was disgusted, and then returned it. I have a deep-seated hatred for well, I guess Final Fantasy after 10.
Well, if I were to go back and like had the time and attention and patience to play through any of the Final Fantasy games, I would probably first I would finish 9, then
Okay.
I would probably play 12, and be done with the series forever.
They're remaking 7.
Yeah, I might play that because I've never played 7, so I probably should.
I think you should. I mean, I don't think it ages very well, but I think you should.
Well, and that's
I think
like I know most of what happens. It's like it's really hard for me to go back and play old turn-based RPGs now, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It just like they don't, both from like an interface perspective and a sort of speed of play perspective, like they do not age well. Like every generation speeds it up, and I get really accustomed to anything that involves like speed and efficiency in an interface like that. I get so accustomed to like the most kind of contemporary or most recent speed that I mean, it has to do with like, you know, if I start working on a new computer, like I really notice when a computer's running even just a little bit slow, and it drives me crazy. So going back and playing old RPGs that are slow and clunky is just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I tried going back and playing the original Phantasy Star games, and that was just kind of brutal.
Right. I can understand that. And Matt is explaining the zodiac signs. Now they work.
In Final Fantasy Tactics?
Oh, just in
Or
general.
in, Astrology Cast over here?
Yeah. We can do that. I can be your Miss Cleo. I also like the idea of the astrology version of the zodiac as opposed to the astronomy version.
Oh, Matt,
Either
you are
I'm
taking, Matt's taking an astronomy class right now, I guess. What's wrong with people knowing that you're taking a class? No, it's astronomy, not astrology, right? Or do you have an astrology class right now? Okay. You're learning about like how to look through a telescope at planets, not how to foretell my future. At least I hope you are.
I took an astrology class. I just thought it was fun. It was easy credit.
You actually had one of those in college?
Yes, we did.
I've never heard of that. Like a college.
For
actually
a conservative school, we had a lot of weird woo kind of classes. Like there was a class for homeopathy too.
For
I
for
did-
what?
Homeopathy.
Hmm. I don't really know what all that consists of. I kind of
Like,
know the word.
Water has memory and nonsense like that. I didn't take it. I didn't know it. I didn't really think that didn't think it was a waste. I thought it was even for an easy credit, it was a waste of time. The astrology class was pretty fun because the teacher was a complete nutbag, but dude was like, "Wait, what? Astrology?" Yes, I did. I took an astrology class for a credit. We went over Western, Eastern, Indian. It's pretty cool. I don't remember a damn thing about it because I slept through most of the classes and still got an A. The teacher was more interested in smoking pot in the bathroom than teaching, so it was a pretty easy class. Weird gal.
It sounds
like
like you had
professor.
a bunch of teachers that, both in high school and college, who were really into pot. Didn't you tell me
There
about
was-
some teacher who was
Yeah,
like,
there was a
some
teacher.
science teacher?
Yeah, my aquatic ecology teacher, Mr. Drexler, was super into recreational drugs. Not just pot, but pot was the main one. Also super into mescaline.
Why does our whole office smell like popcorn?
Someone was using the microwave for a little bit.
Are you making popcorn, Matthew? Oh. Okay. The coffee smells very weird to me.
The coffee smells like popcorn.
Yeah, no, it kind of does.
You should probably get rid of that popcorn. Like, immediately.
Well, he's making coffee, and I think I'm smelling something that's like a little bit burnt smelling. It may just be the blend of coffee or something. But I can't convince my brain that it's coffee right now.
Oh, I thought you were like, it smells like butter.
No, it's
Which
just
people
like,
put into coffee, which I think is kind of gross, but
What's that?
people put butter into coffee, which I think is kind of gross.
I do that sometimes.
That's really gross, Baker.
That's not bad.
I hear it makes it, like, creamy, and it's supposed to, like, elongate the caffeine high or something like that. I don't know how that would work, but...
Well, this was, speaking of homeopathy and weird stuff like that, I went to this holistic, doctor kind of person. I jokingly called her a witch doctor a couple times.
I'm sure
Mainly
she
to
really
just, like-
appreciated that.
No, not like to her face, but just like,
Oh,
I think
okay.
my fiance because my fiance was pretty into it. So, and I just try to rile up Katie a little bit by saying things like that sometimes.
Mhm.
It's which she doesn't appreciate. It became like every time this doctor came up in conversation with our friends, Katie would be like, "Oh yeah," and like, she told me this, and like, it's so interesting, and I'm like, "Let me tell you," and she's like, "Okay, yes, Ryan, please, just like throw me under the bus and tell all of our friends about the witch doctor that we go to," because she got mad at me one time, basically is what happened, but so I would jokingly tell people how she would say, like, boom shakalaka and wave incense
Nice.
in my face, which never happened, but
Right.
but just yeah, just to be
Just to
funny,
rile
basically.
your fiance up and make her mad at you.
Yeah.
Always
Which I-
good.
Yeah, I'm good at doing that, or bad depending on how you look at it.
Both, I think, is fair. I avoid doctors to be, just to the exclusion of all of them. So there's a homeopathy place like a 2-minute walk from my apartment, though. They don't call themselves homeopathy. They call themselves alternative medicine.
Yeah.
Maybe I should walk in there one day and be like, "Yeah, my chakras are all messed up." See what they do. Smuggle
Yeah,
in like
can
a
I-
GoPro.
Can I buy some pot magnet crystals?
Yeah. There you go. They might have them. I think we're supposed to be having a referendum on legalizing pot here.
Here being your state, or like
And being in
here
Arizona.
everywhere?
Being in Arizona.
Yeah.
I know there is. I
That does not
know there's
surprise
one
me.
in Ohio. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of college-age students and a bunch of people who are using it medically. I mean, we have medical marijuana. That did get passed pretty easily. How's it going, Nate? How's it going? I saw that you got your new computer. So how's that going for you? I was surprised that Ohio is thinking of passing it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously a little bit more political than we probably want to get into because there's a lot of weird stuff going on with it. But I just thought it was an interesting thing to mention. Ohio is a fairly conservative state usually, so
Yeah, I think Missouri will take quite a while.
more than likely, yeah. Colorado's making a lot of money off of it, so
So you
heard
wanted,
your new theater is actually. Yeah, I'm sorry.
you guys wanted Merc next.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Merc is going to be hard. I mean, well, we talked about doing the hands and tentacles and whatnot a couple weeks ago, so maybe I'll try for that. But I'm really liking these a lot. Like, this is one of the more fun things I've done in a few weeks.
Yeah, I really like this idea.
It's like these Rorschach ink blots of elemental stuff.
If I was ever going to get a tattoo, I would actually get a tattoo of one of these.
Yeah.
Not above my butt. As we were
Below
talking
your
about.
butt.
Yeah, below my butt. I would probably get it like around my ankle.
Matt, can I have a little bit of your popcorn coffee?
Ew. I mean, I bet you. I'm gonna Google this. Well, when I Google popcorn coffee, I get roasting coffee beans in a popcorn popper, which isn't quite what I was hoping to find. Doom also says that you should go for the Hanson tentacle look. Maybe appendages that can't really be assigned to any normally living creature. Like what? Like forks and knives or something? How would you picture a appendage that wouldn't be in a living creature?
I don't want you to pour anything in my mouth.
Did Matthew just ask, do you want me to pour the coffee in your mouth?
Yeah, my mug is over there on the counter, if you don't mind, that white one. Masha could have handed it to you. He was going to just, like, christen me with coffee, I think, because he couldn't find my mug.
Oh, okay. Masha's the new intern, yeah?
No. Well, Masha is working on some contract work type stuff.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't really helped on Delvers that I can think of, but I went to school with her, and
Right. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about Masha when we did the.
And if I think Blaud's kind of been, well, at least in the peripheral before. So, and Blaud, well, she and Blaud are married. He works on some art. Thank you, Matthew. You are looking at me very weirdly. What?
Why are you stuttering?
Huh?
Why are you stuttering?
Stuttering? Because I can't hear anything. So I say weird things.
Well, NatureBox has.
You were also being really creepy for a second there, and I think that I was just making sure there was no knife in your hand.
Oh, Doom is like saying make it look like they're trying to form natural appendages, but not quite succeeding. So like gloopy hands that aren't like fully fingered or stuff like that. So there is off NatureBox a coffee kettle popcorn. It's popcorn roasted with coffee beans.
Sorry, what was that again?
NatureBox.
Is that a company or?
Yeah, it's a mail order snack company that deals in like super healthy, like flaxseed crackers and stuff like that. Really good stuff, though. I did a trial box from them, and it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Like sriracha roasted cashews and almonds with like blueberry powder and hippie stuff.
Yeah.
But very tasty. I would recommend people go check out NatureBox. Not endorsed by the stream necessarily. They don't endorse us, but
I wish they did. That'd be awesome.
We could
like just nuts and berries and nature
you should
things.
Send them an email because they would totally do stuff like that. I mean, they do stuff like that, so.
Like, hey guys, we have a video game podcast and we want to eat your food on the air. Can you make that happen? Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, they do it with like Rooster Teeth. They do it with a lot of YouTubers and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. You should, if you are interested in that, then you should give them a give them a hit.
Yeah, I usually just think no one would ever sponsor us in a million years. So,
These guys seem pretty cool and down with that.
but also I don't know if I don't know if we should, since we're already making a game. Like, if we were just a YouTube channel, streaming
Hmm.
games or whatever. But since we're like promoting our own product, I don't know. Like, I've never
I don't know
really
what
thought about it.
I don't know what the legality of that would be. Yeah.
I don't think there would be any problem, like legally speaking. I wonder if our fans would react badly.
Oh
Let
well,
us know in
yeah.
the comments if you're okay with us getting a sponsorship from NatureBox and eating tasty munchies on the stream. Just let us know.
They're good. They're good, tasty treats. Like I said, I really enjoyed them. They have a pretty cool. It's like 2020. It's 1995 a month after your initial subscription, but they send you like a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I think I actually have heard of this. I think there was another friend evangelizing it to Katie and I recently.
Yeah, I mean their like starter box is all the same stuff. It's like jalapeno cashews, sriracha cashews, almonds with the blueberry powder, flaxseed crackers, and I forget what the other. Oh, dried cranberries and pomegranate, which were really good. They were like natural gummies, pretty tasty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have stuff like dried fruit. Just looking at their website here, avocado fries,
Sounds pretty good.
Big Island pineapple chunks, some chocolate stuff.
You're really making me want food right now.
Yeah, I'm good at that. And of course, the coffee flavored popcorn, which is exactly what Baker apparently wants right now. So
No, I like that's. It smelled kind of gross. I just want coffee. No offense, Matt. The coffee just smells weird over here.
Nade's computer turned on. That's always a good start. It's really hard to play on a computer that doesn't turn on. Trust me, I know.
When you say Nate, I keep thinking you're talking about Nathan here. Are you talking about someone? Is this a
It's someone in the
viewer?
chat. Her name is Nadrug13, but I say Nade. N-A-I-D.
Oh, I
Where
see.
did Nadrug come from, Nade? Where did you get that name? Everyone has a story for their handles. And I'm curious how you got that one. Like, we know why Doom Speaker is called Doom Speaker.
I actually don't.
Because he always speaks about doom and gloom.
Well, I mean, but who kind of came up with that or suggested it?
Oh, I imagine it was Doom himself. You've never built a PC? Yeah, I would be terrified too. I've never built one. My next computer I'll probably build myself. Looking
I
into
had help with my machine. Kurt, who's done animation and stuff for us, helped out. I think having done it once, I could probably do it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely next time. It's Guardian spelled backwards. My dad's nickname for me was Angel. It is Guardian spelled backwards. You're not wrong about that. I didn't realize that. Well, there you go. And how did you guys come up with the name Pixelscopic?
I had actually registered the URL for a blog I was wanting to do,
Mm-hmm.
which originally I was thinking about calling it Game Aesthetic, but it was really weird to spell that because it would look like Gam Aesthetic or something like that. But I wanted to do a blog about just like critical analysis of games, and I never did anything with it, but I had registered Pixelscopic as my alternative since Game Aesthetic just was hard to write, and I kind of wanted to keep it to myself. And Kobe had an idea for a name, which was it was, I feel like this is wrong, but it was something like Gameophage or like something with phage in the name.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be like a biology like pre-med major in college, and so and I forget, there was kind of like some symbolism to it, and I was thinking about doing an icon that was like not really a Pac-Man, but it would kind of allude to like a Pac-Man sort of shape, but kind of like more amorphous. Um, and so we were kind of going for it, but he ran the idea through by a few people, and I think they all like universally hated the name. And so I told him pixelscopic, and I was like, oh, you know, like looking at the most minute aspects of the aesthetics of games. And he was like, done, sold, that's the name. So then we just went with it. And now
Well, there
everyone
you
calls
go.
it pixelscopic, so whatever.
Do they really call it scopic?
Yeah, basically everyone who sees it for the first time says pixelscopic. Like actually, and it's I even shrunk the O slightly because the O was bigger in the original version of the logo, so I shrunk it slightly partly for that reason, and people just continue to call it pixelscopic.
Weird.
Hang on 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Everyone calls you Nade. Well, I mean, everyone calls me Voss except for me.
I don't. Aaron was showing me something cool, and I don't think the cord will reach far enough. Um, but can you send me a screenshot?
Yeah. Like this is with it set to 0.4 with maximum length of 6.
Cool. Yeah, send me a screenshot really quick, and I'll show the stream and tell them what we're talking about. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here. Are you still
Okay,
here?
I got a little beep in my headset, and I thought it turned off for a second. Aaron has been working nonstop on level generation craziness, and he is now generating walls, or I should say sub-walls. I think we've already talked about how he generates the walls, but he's generating smaller kind of brick walls within rooms, then converting some of them to pipes, sort of randomly based on some parameters. Like we can say how much, like what percentage of the walls we want to become pipes, and then he also is converting parts of them to chains as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a really nice balance and variety of different kind of barricades within rooms.
I like it. Excited to see the screenshot when you get it. I like how the Merc stuff is coming along too. By the way, Doom will understand what I mean, but it looks like Magellan from One Piece's powers.
Yeah, it needs a little. I needed a little something else going on here, but it needs to be a little creepier. But let's see what it looks like when I mirror it. Everything looks better when you mirror it on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, see, that actually looks super creepy right there. Looks like a face in the middle.
A little bit.
But the idea is to do that sort of thing. And then I want to do something that kind of feels like pincers or fingers or something else in here. Just need to kind of figure out how to work it in. I might just keep moving along for now, though.
I like it. I mean, it looks vaguely tentacly. So which one do you want to do next?
I don't know. You guys can pick.
How about Howl?
Oh, Hell's going to be a hard one. But I did have an idea of making it kind of look like, well, I don't really like using the word, but kind of like tribal tattoo sort of
You should make it look like stylized, like wolf heads and stuff, like sharp, angular.
Well, and I wanted some bone elements, so I did this, but I didn't really. Just looks like, I don't know, it looks like candy or something. This, it's supposed to be like bones of like talons or something, but
Mm-hmm.
um, but I was thinking about using these kind of shapes.
Just letting the stream catch up. Oh, like a rib cage almost.
Yeah, kind of rib cagey, but also these almost like spirally shapes.
Mm-hmm. It looks pretty cool. It looks a little tribal, almost Mesoamerican almost.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I had this, I was working on the talon sort of thing, and then had this idea in my head, and hadn't actually gotten it on paper until just now. So I'm probably going to try to burn through a few of these really quick and not refine it much, and then I'll go back and refine it later. Because I also need to, I or Matt, one of us needs to vectorize these the new element icons pretty soon. But all of this kind of, it almost looks like little bits of like bone weaponry or something too.
Right. Which I guess is sort of the idea.
Yeah, and I probably need some kind of a, like, I'm trying to put some little claw elements out here on the side.
Doom is asking what did Aaron succeed at because the audio cut out. If you don't mind repeating it.
Aaron finished converting. It's like converting walls to pipes and chains.
Which is cool. One step closer to getting level generation finished.
Are you guys gonna send me a screenshot in a minute? Oh, he's trying to get a better one.
Always needing to one up themselves. These
I guess
Pixel Sky
you already
guys.
sent me one. I just didn't hear the update or something. I'm fine. Okay, so this is what it looks like, if you all can see that pretty well.
Just gotta let it catch up.
He's got a cooler one that he's gonna send me in a second here. But there's some sorting issues, like you notice right now it looks like these blue chain posts are on top of the walls, which won't be the case right now. They just don't have all their properties set up again.
I really need a new playable build, Baker.
Doesn't everyone?
I don't care about everyone else. I mean, I do, but...
So, and just so everyone knows, like, all of that is totally procedurally generated. The shape of the room, the tiles, the pits, the walls, everything. The big glowy spot is the drop, which is currently mispositioned, so that's something we need to fix. But yeah, so this is all totally procedural. So the idea would be, if this is the character start point, they have to walk all the way around this and get around to the drop here. So it generates a pathway through the room that you have to traverse. Okay,
So,
yeah,
hey,
so he just
Baker.
sent me a crazy one.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
What zone is that?
This is just temp art.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really a tile set for a specific zone. We basically made a new test tile set. I mean, it's kind of based on the colors of Zone 1, I guess, but it's, it's just really bare bones flat color. So, yeah, so you can see some crazy complicated stuff going on in this one.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. What are the purple things? Just like supposed to be links?
The purple ones are the subwalls, so that would be like a brick
Okay.
or stone wall, and then the little blue small barricades would be chains and chain posts, and then
Mhm.
obviously the bronze pipes.
Right. So that's cool.
You wanna talk to them for a minute?
Yeah.
So I've got all three of these images up as tabs here, and this screen is the one that's streaming. So you can click through or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Hey,
How's it going, Aaron?
pretty good. Baker's head is bigger than mine. At least it feels like it is. And that's really impressive. My head is huge.
Well, you know what they say about artists, Aaron.
You know what they say. Large
Yep, I just even heard Nathan say it.
But yeah. So have you... I think I didn't even have pits working the last time I was on the stream.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, so right now these pits don't actually work. They're purely visual, but the neat thing is they can be procedurally generated anywhere. Right now, the pits you see here would actually be walls, and I just said for the sake of screenshots and debugging and making it easier to see what was going on, I said instead of making walls, anything that's not the edge of the room becomes a pit instead. So that's what's going on here.
Okay.
So the pits are a lot fancier than they used to be, as you can tell, because
Yeah.
we have things coming out from the sides and going down from the top, and like I've actually generated some rooms that are mostly pit, and while they aren't actually beatable, they do look really cool.
Yeah, I mean, before this, for those people who are in the chat who don't know what the pits used to look like, they were just like portals into nothingness. There was no, I guess, fringe. What they have on here now, they didn't look like this.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's really nice to see that they're not just black
Yeah.
portals into nothingness.
Yeah, and it actually might be possible. I haven't looked too much into this yet, but like before they tried to add like some kind of abyss-looking thing, just some stuff way out in the distance at the bottom of the pits to have a cool kind of parallax effect to let you know how deep the pits are.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is, you could see the pit like through the walls or like anything that wasn't a tiled part of the level. You could just look down and see the abyss around the level, and that looked really weird. So they dropped that idea, but with everything being procedurally generated, I can just map out, tiles out far beyond the edges of the room so you can't see through it. And so that way we can actually have like some kind of distant abyss down here. So it really
That'd be pretty
feels
cool.
like you have a long way to fall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a couple of things that I've been working on. One is these whole, like in the last monthly update, it was just I could plot this path, but like outside of these pits, which would normally be walls, there was nothing forcing you to stick to that path.
Mm-hmm.
This, my first thing was I added in these sub walls to help you stick to it, but now we've added in these pipes, which are really complicated and really neat looking. And like down the line, pipes will have mechanics attached to them because they're going to have like a pump, and then it'll be spewing out a geyser somewhere later, and it can be used in puzzles. But largely,
Yeah, those are already kind of in some of the updates.
yeah.
Steam vents and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I spoke with Baker for a really long time because while it doesn't look that complicated, uh, creating a mixture of these two systems is actually pretty hard because if you see this big like chain down the middle of subwalls connected by these little chain posts,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're creating pipes, you can't actually stop anywhere in the middle there because it'll create a gap because these chain posts, they attach to subwalls so that you can't sneak through them, but they don't attach to pipes.
Right.
So in order to make a secure wall, you either have to make it pipe all the way down or leave it as chains the entire way, which means you have to actually, as you're turning things into pipes, count how long that chain is all the way to the end, then go all the way back, and then start turning it into pipes and all the way down, only if it's actually possible to do that. I don't know, I think it's neat.
I think it's cool. I do have a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make destructible subwalls?
Yes, they aren't. Those currently aren't hooked in yet, but the
Mhm.
assets for them have been made for like destructible chains.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was asking for. Because I'm sure you, as a gamer, quote unquote, have known the frustration of I'm playing a superhero. Oh crap! I have a chain link fence that's stopping me from going through this area.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, because I'm almost guaranteeing someone's going to say, well, why can't I break down this subwall? That looks
These
like
are
a chain.
law-abiding delvers. They see a chain and it's just like, that might
Don't
be
wanna break
inappropriate for
that.
me to like hop over it.
Right.
Or maybe you can just make them kind of barbed looking, so that you just don't want to chance it. But yeah, this is a lot. Like I can generate these types of levels in less than a second.
That's pretty cool.
So this kind of complicated room would have taken a long time to make in just planning out and tiled.
Yeah.
And I can generate, almost
imagine
an
that.
endless amount of these types of rooms.
In no time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So it's definitely streamlined the level creation.
Yeah, that is the pretty much the big reason why we're switching to this procedural generation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because trying to create every level, every room shape by hand with every possible random permutation by hand.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. Like
It
that's
was-
the
it
way the
was a
old system
nightmare.
worked, but
Yeah.
now we're switching to this where I can just say, okay, I want a room that's this big with a path this long, and I want this much of it to be pipes. We're then going to hook in. It's like, okay, I want this much of it to be pipes, this much of it to be just chains, and the rest can be subwalls or these little chain corner things.
Mm-hmm. Or pits or whatever else you want to throw in there.
Yeah, and then eventually we're going to hook in other mechanics like, how numerous are the traps? Like, what's the trap density? How many enemies are there?
Destructibles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and, while it's not hooked in yet, there are, like, I have planned out how, stuff like side paths can work.
Mm-hmm.
Because, always going from just the beginning to the end of the level is kind of dull.
Right.
But I can currently, well, not currently, but without too much effort, make it so that you create this critical path from the beginning to the end, but before this locked gate, you want to make another path that goes out to the side and has a key.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe push blocks you could push all the Zelda and make a shortcut for yourself if you do it all correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Yeah. That's really cool. And I'd imagine that wouldn't take too much time to do as well.
Yeah, like the way currently I'm designing it so that like everything just builds itself around the paths.
Right.
So Like, if you just change the shape of the path, because here every single time the path is random, although you can control it. It's like, you know, I don't want to have any diagonal lines in this level. I want everything to be perfectly cardinal directions. Sure, you can do that. You can make a level out of only diagonal lines. Everything is controllable and modifiable. It's not hooked up to like a database yet, but it definitely will be. So designers can just, you know,
plug things in and get
Yeah.
it done.
it's like the levels in this zone of the game feel kind of long. Well, you just shorten the path and there you go.
Hmm.
Whereas before, it's like you really, really, really better plan how big you want the levels to be, because otherwise you're going to have to go through and change every single one. And you might as well just
Right.
throw out your work at that point.
Or tear your hair out.
Yeah, that's what happened to Nathan.
Yeah, or it all migrated down his face to his beard.
He's giving me mean looks, it's great.
It's okay. Nathan and I have a frenemy status.
Yeah.
So
said
anything
that,
you say that makes Nathan upset makes me happy. I'm all good for it.
What did you tell me? What?
we're talking about the frustrations of the old level design and how it would make you tear your hair out, and I said that's what happened to you.
It's all kaput. So, yeah, pretty much.
Poor Nathan. How's his finger doing?
How's your finger doing?
Good.
Can you bend it yet?
Nope. That's it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Me too. You know how hard it is to learn to program and type without the access of your keys?
Yeah, like,
No, I've never I've never broken my thumbs or cut them in that way. Doom is asking, can you change these sorts of things mid-game based on player action, like level layout stuff?
like I mean, once you create a single room, it's final. You can't hot swap, you know,
Mm-hmm.
data around like that. Like, I mean, you technically could, but that's not how things are being designed. As far as parameters go, rooms are built on a room-by-room basis, so if you wanted to add some kind of metrics for player behavior and said, okay, player did X, Y, or Z, so this next room is going to be extra long or extra short or extra windy, yeah, that's totally possible.
It's cool.
Because it's just a set of numbers that determine how each level looks entirely.
He
How
meant
long-
he meant just the generation. Can you change the generation mid-game based off player actions?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you can't
Oh, yeah,
change
okay.
the level once the level's been made, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, for the next level, if you wanted, if we designed a way that's like, okay, the level, how you beat the level you're just in determines the parameters for the next room that you go to, that's technically possible. That would be pretty easy to do.
All right, I'm sure that will make him happy to hear. Doom is one of the people who definitely wants to get into modding, so I'm sure he could send you an encyclopedia of questions.
I have no doubt. I just sit there and stare at them. It's like, what the hell are you asking of me? No one can make something like this. Are you crazy? I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm sure he would ask pretty competent questions. He's really good at this sort of stuff. Now, if I were to send you an encyclopedia of questions, most of it would be gibberish, but not Doom. Doom's got his head on straight.
I'm not saying it's gibberish. I'm just worried that a list of those questions would be stuff that would be really, really hard to do.
Probably. But, I mean, we just want you to work harder for us, Aaron.
You know,
What's
making
the
this
problem
stuff
with that?
isn't easy.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
I'm pretty good at it, but it's not easy.
No, nothing but respect. For real, you are amazing. Like like half the time Baker's like, yeah, Aaron's doing this, this, and this. I'm like, I understood like 3 words of what you just told me, Baker.
Well, I'm really proud of the work I'm doing here.
It's
Like-
really good.
Uh,
Like
Like, a
it's
lot of
it's
the-
astounding.
like most of what I'm doing currently is moving data around. Uh, a lot of like the actual controlling of spawning, just
Mhm.
objects in general, is still Baker's or Kobe's code.
Right.
So it's still just like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm happy with what I'm doing.
I'm being told to tell you that you're great. All these complicated requests are his fault because he makes it look like he's doing it really easy. So you're too good, is what they're saying, Aaron.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. It's nothing but compliments. That's how we roll. Once the Steam forums start opening up, it may change, but for now, when it's outside, I guess, the internet, it's all good. Oh, my internet reset. Did I drop, Aaron?
No, you're still here.
Okay, that's
I still
good.
hear you.
I'm sorry for that. All right. Hopefully that didn't do anything to the stream. I guess I'll refresh. Well, yeah. I mean, it looks really awesome. What's next on the chopping block? I guess for you when it comes to level generation.
Like, I literally just finished, like, I made it so you could turn everything into pipes first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what I've been working on all day today is allowing this mixture. Next, it's going to be asking Baker what of the pipe spawning stuff he likes, or if it's good enough as it is, because turning some of the subwalls into just chains, so that way chains just aren't the things you stick on diagonals, because you can't make squares round. You know, there are already assets for like vertical chain walls and horizontal chain walls, so it's just a matter of, if this is good enough, then we can then I can just almost copy and paste the code for pipes into making it into chains.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's what Baker thinks I should be working on next. Kobe should be in tomorrow, so I can get his input as well.
Right. Sounds good. Enemy. I would imagine enemy placement would be on that list.
It's somewhere on that list. Like, once physics gets overhauled, whenever he's satisfied and done with physics and that gets put back into the game,
Mm-hmm.
That'll probably change quite a bit, and that'll just take a lot of tweaking to get everything back to the way it should be.
Right.
Then after that, we're going to come up with a longer schedule of what we should be working on and in what order.
Makes sense. Oh, all right. Sounds awesome, and sounds closer and closer to a working build, which I'm sure will make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And then we'll tear it apart, and
yeah,
that'll be a lot of fun.
There are so many unique situations that can happen just in terms of level layouts and just because of the way the random function works. Like, this kind of thing just makes it look really easy, because it's like, oh, you just drew some walls around a path. That's simple enough.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way the walls can kind of bulge out into the room or sink back away, and a whole bunch of other variables, like, there are... God, tracking down all of the individual situations, like... for instance, these pipes... I can tell you where the pipe's going to go, and then it has to kind of determine for itself what kind of pipe it's going to be.
In what way?
As in whether it's like this, which is like a pipe that goes into the ground, or this pipe which is kind of a hub, or these just diagonal shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a whole bunch of various rule sets that I have to keep expanding here and there, because... oh, this 1 in a million chance created a pipe that looks absolutely awful and doesn't belong there at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whenever we get to the point that we do make a new build, I'm going to... I'm not sure if appreciate is the right word, but look forward to. I'll be expecting a lot of people to report just, hey, there's this one weird thing that happened. Why did that happen? And then I'm just going to pray to God that they include a screenshot so I can look at it and try to fix it.
Yeah, at least on my end, I always try to provide screenshots. I don't know if you've gone to the forums too much, but most people, when they're reporting bugs on the forums, provide either video or screenshot evidence
Yeah.
of what's going on, which obviously helps a lot because it helps you source the problem.
Yeah.
Some of the bugs, man, were real hilarious. Honestly, though, every build so far has been pretty bug-free, which I expect to remain in that state. So
Yeah. Like every now and then on my end, I just sit and just run directly to the drop and keep on going through a whole bunch of randomly generated rooms over and over again. It's like, okay, can anything appear that makes everything look horribly wrong?
right, I'm sure the answer is yes.
Yeah, I've ironed out pretty much everything for right now. I haven't found anything that's weird spawning currently.
It's good.
Uh,
It's helpful.
but yeah. I'm kind of just stalling for time until Baker decides
Baker
to
gets-
commandeer the thing back from me.
Well, what games have you been playing? You don't have to
Oh.
necessarily talk about the game while we stall for time.
I've been playing through Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition a lot.
Mm-hmm. How are you liking that?
My feelings are mixed. Like, it's an infinitely better direction than that god-awful DMC Devil May Cry reboot thing.
See, I've heard good things about that. So,
The reboot?
yeah, I've heard good things about the reboot.
The thing is, it's not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the game isn't unfun to play. It's actually pretty fun, which is fine. It's just that for what Devil May Cry can be,
Right.
everything is dumbed down. There's not the depth. Some of the mechanics are really stupid. The characterizations are awful. The story is horrendous. Like, the bad guys are infinitely more likable than the protagonists.
Okay.
Dante's an asshole.
sounds-
So is Virgil.
I thought they were assholes in the I guess the before
No, no,
the
no.
remake, the original series.
Like, Dante has always been, like, a bit of a kind of pompous, arrogant jerk, but
Mm-hmm.
it's part of his charm.
Right, and they just reduced that to nothing in the new game. or
Yeah,
the
it's
remake.
like-
Yeah.
He just... It's not like he was like a Saturday morning cartoon, never ever swore, but, he just has a whole bunch of curse words thrown into all of his speech for no real reason. And things that he says are just trying to be witty, are just kind of like, that's... Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more annoying than anything else. It's like a 3-year-old started writing the character.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
So what you're saying is DMC is not a bad game. It's just not a good Devil May Cry game.
It's a bad game. It's just they managed to salvage the actual like gameplay, so that
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad. But like the story and everything, it's like it has super duper pretty environments,
Right. Yeah, I've seen.
and that's where
play
the compliments kind of end.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
I've certainly heard mixed reviews on the game. Like, I know that it's not like universal acclaim.
Yeah. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition does... Like, in terms of the Special Edition, the big thing was just that they added, 3 new characters. And they all
Mhm.
play pretty well and pretty uniquely. Like, some of them are meant for more beginners, so they're kind of ridiculously overpowered, but they're still really fun to play. And overall, it's, a better decision than, you know, the reboot was by a tremendous margin, but yeah, I don't know. I really love Devil May Cry both for its attitude and its mechanics and how it all works, and like, I just want to be put in charge of my own Devil May Cry game. Like, that probably won't ever happen, but I want to be able to do that someday.
So just an an action style game you like to do.
Yeah. Like, I've had ideas swimming in my head for a while, but I haven't really... It's like, it's something that if I put enough time into it, I could technically do on my own, but I'm not one of those people who can just make games on their own and have them be good. I just lose interest after a while.
You certainly know your stuff when it comes to programming. I don't know. Do you do art as well?
No, God,
Okay.
no.
No. Okay.
Like, I actually tried to get into drawing for a while, and I decided that a world with my attempts at drawing in it was a worse world than one without my drawings in it, so I decided to stop
Oh.
making the world a worse place.
Oh, that sounds harsh. That's way too harsh. I'm sure you're fine.
No, I'm not.
Are you can't be worse than Kobe.
I've never seen Kobe try to draw.
Ask to see. I don't know if they still have it. Ask to see their butchers that they all drew, and ask to see Kobe's. He was adamant not showing it on a stream.
Right
Yep.
now.
I can hear them talking about it.
How much does this mic pick up? Because, like, with my headphones on, I can barely hear him, and yet you're responding to him.
I can hear them pretty clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that they're like in other parts of the room, but it definitely picks them up. We tried to convince them to put it up on the website, but I think Kobe like threatened them with violence or something, so it never
We're talking
happened.
about... Right now they're pointing out pictures that are taped to the refrigerator.
Yeah, that might be where they put them.
I think he was there for Devil Butcher was Katie. Devil Butcher was Katie? Nice. That's my favorite one. Yeah.
But yeah, no. I am not an art person. I was actually trying to make my own kind of action game for a while, but it's just like, oh my god, you have to make so many assets for a game.
Yes.
It's insane, because I'm just sitting there, it's like, okay, so I started working on this, and I have to do this, and that, and once I get through it, I would have to make all of these as well, and then that's just a subset of all this other stuff I would have to do. This is awful.
Yeah, it's almost like making video games is work.
Yeah. Like, if
Take
for
that,
some reason,
Internet.
like, I ever get, like, super incredibly rich, I'm just gonna, like, hire people to do the art. I'm not gonna try to do it myself.
Yeah, I told Baker if I ever won the lotto, I would just form my own publishing LLC and just pump money into Pixelscopic. Like,
Yeah.
it's Tuesday. Here's $20,000. Do with it what you need to do. I'm never going to win the lotto. The chances are infinitesimally small, but
Yeah, I'm never gonna play the lottery. I just know that's like, hey, I sure do love throwing my money away.
yep. I every once in a while I'll buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I don't do it like religiously, but every like 4 or 5 months I'll be like, hey, why don't I just throw a couple dollars away for the very rare chance that I might actually get it back. I've won some stuff. I've won $100, but never the jackpot,
So for whatever reason, my test
You
which is the reason why you play it.
wondering if someone in the office suddenly started downloading something because he got super choppy for a second there.
Yeah, you guys went crazy. Someone was, and then your stream cut out as well. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Someone might have been running the microwave. I know the microwave messes with Baker's headset.
Yeah. Right now Baker has just been running through levels on my machine and he managed to make it crash somehow, so that's something I'll have to fix.
Good job, Baker.
Apparently he just went down the drop. Wait, no, it came back. Yeah, no, the issue is, right now, the game, when it tries to create a path, does depth first search to try and have enough room for the path, because, you know, it's like playing a game of Snake, essentially. You have a super long snake and you have to get it into the room without having it overlap itself.
You know, I think what we should do is if the game tries to make a room and takes longer than like a half second, we just generate a square treasure room. Because we fucked up, so you get treasure.
So you get reward.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like
then you
the
have
sound of
people
that.
just like doing speed runs of the game by just purposely like running Crisis 3 in the background 3 times.
Nice.
That would be kind of an interesting method.
I think Baker's mic is starting to have some problems, though. I'm getting a lot of feedback from something.
Is
The
this
joys. No.
better?
The joys of the live stream.
But yeah, no, what's interesting is the complexity for depth first search is the branching factor, or no, it's the number of steps. It's either the branching factor to the to the depth, or the depth to the branching factor. I think it's branching factor to the depth. The branching factor is the number of directions the path can go, so in this case it's 8. Up, down, left, right, and the diagonals. And the depth is how long the path is. So for this is a 6x6 chunk room, and the path is 30 long.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming you wanted to generate say for some reason you created parameters for a room where there was only one solution, the total time to get to that solution, like say, you know, with a path that's 30 long, it would be 8 to the 30th power.
It just sounds like a lot of math.
No, it's great because like computers are really, really good at math, but these numbers quickly become like impossible. So the level either loads in an instant,
Mhm.
or if you just like make the path just a bit longer without making the room any bigger, you can end up with problems that like the world will probably end before it actually manages to find a solution, because you know, you try like, say you have a 10 by 10 room and you want to put a path that's 100 in it, you have 8 to the 100th power. Just like start putting that in a calculator or something, and you'll quickly understand just how big the number is. Like,
Yeah.
computers aren't really meant to chug through that.
But we can make them.
Well,
Because
yeah,
we're-
it's just you're not going to get the answer before you die.
Right.
But
The
hey,
joy of machines.
if quantum computers become a thing before Delver's Drop comes out, then we don't have to worry anymore. I think this is one of those problems that
That'll
quantum
fix
computers
itself.
are actually meant to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, hey, try every single possibility for the room at once.
Right. And
Now just-
be able to do it.
Yeah, so Delver's Drop confirmed to be the first quantum computer video game.
Jesus. Well, I'll not be playing it. Who can afford a quantum computer?
No one for quite a few more years at least.
Yeah.
But anyway, Baker, do you want to take over again?
So that you can go fix his mess.
No, his mess is fine. It actually did spawn. Like, the room did come to eventually. It just took a long time. So yeah, it didn't crash. It was just taking forever to figure out a room.
Yeah, it said not responding temporarily, but...
But yeah, anyway, here's Baker again.
Alright. Thanks again, Aaron. Always good to see you.
Yeah, that's your chair. Mine is over here.
Your mic is picking up some weird interference there, Baker, just so you know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because the AC is on, or... I don't think
You have,
there's-
like, the most sensitive mic.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we're
Look.
we're getting close to 5. Is it
We
bad enough
are.
that we need to
Oh, it
Use-
fixed itself, but I mean, it is getting close to 5, so we could probably wrap it down.
Yeah, I can draw a little bit more, and but yeah, if we were going for much longer, I would try to figure out what's going on. But
It fixed itself, so I don't know.
So totally fixed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why it decided that I bought a new headset. It should be here today or tomorrow. Was getting sick and tired of this thing's audio cutting out all the time.
Yeah.
That'll be my first wireless headset. Got a Logitech, which hopefully will work pretty well without too many hiccups. But we'll see. But the level pathing all looks pretty cool, Bake.
Mhm. Yeah, it's coming along really well.
So back to Howl.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what this looked like if I mirrored it. I got that little middle piece too close, I think. But maybe I could just do something like that.
Looks good. Looks very tribal. Which is what you were going for, I think, so.
Yeah, I think it makes it look pretty unique from everything else because it seems like it's made by hand rather than, well, I guess the chains feel like they're made by hand, but a lot of the other ones are supposed to look like kind of natural shapes. And so I guess the exceptions would be Arcane, which looks like gears, so that would be pretty distinct from these kind of like bony, tribal-ish patterns. And it's also distinct from all the other organic stuff, because like this, you know, I was afraid the Talon thing would look, it doesn't really look like anything else, it's just weird. It looks like, because of the bubblegum thing, I guess.
Yeah, your static is back, so maybe about 4 minutes till 5 for you, so maybe we could bring it down. Maybe you could give me a good screen cap of the Splendor and Merc ones for the thumbnail.
Sorry, one for what? Sorry, thumbnail.
The Splendor and Merc for the thumbnail, because I think they're both pretty cool looking.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Maybe next week we could work, and I guess this would be kind of meta, on a quick Delver's Drop stream thumbnail, so I can start throwing that up on the website and stuff.
Like a general stream thumbnail?
Yeah,
or-
something that I can use for YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Okay. So I guess YouTube finally added the ability to add the sort of like cover photos. I don't think that existed for a long time. They would just automatically grab an image from somewhere in your video.
It's been going since I started YouTube.
Okay, it might have happened. Well, I don't know. We looked into it. This was a long time ago when we first kind of started working on Delvers, and we were frustrated because we couldn't, or at least we couldn't figure out how or something. And I guess I had never looked into it since, really. So, so now that we've started regularly upload, because basically we didn't upload anything to YouTube for a long time. So yeah, I guess. I just need to figure out what the sizing is on that.
I can get you that information. It tells you. I can get you that information. Now, I guess my internet might go a little wonky, so forgive me. Maximum file size is 2 megabytes.
Yeah, I would probably just need to know the dimensions, I guess.
Oh, let me see. Resolution of 1280 by 720 with a minimum width of 640 pixels. Has to be.
I probably
dot-
need to. Actually, why don't you just copy paste it to me in Skype so I have, because I won't remember all that.
Yeah, there you go. I can do that. There you go. Has to be .jpeg, .gif, .bmap, or PNG.
Yeah. So I'll just make myself a template, and then we can. I think maybe every week we'll make the sort of square album cover sort of thing for Twitter and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the forums or wherever else, and then I'll make basically the same thing, but do a we'll do a one for YouTube, and at some point
Okay.
maybe we'll go back and just make like a universal one that just has like text on it for the for all the old ones.
That works. That's what I would have suggested.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I like the blast. That one looks pretty cool. I would for real get the Merc one as a tattoo. With your permission, of course.
Oh, I don't mind. It's free country.
Well, yeah, but it's your intellectual property, so.
Well, you're probably not making money off of it if you have a tattoo, unless I don't know. Like, is there anyone who like charges to let people see their tattoos or something?
I mean, you got to. I mean, we were talking about ad space before. I mean, you got to imagine that that's going to be something that does happen. Charging ad space on your body.
Didn't we talk a few weeks ago about people who like they would, I don't know, give you a free game code or maybe it was just like a free tattoo it was probably at E3, but people were getting the G4 logo at E3.
I don't know if you were talking to me about it. Maybe you were.
I
It
thought
sounds
we
like
talked about it on stream, but it might have just been discussion in the office.
I think it might have just been in the office. I don't think we talked about that. I mean, it's an interesting concept. It seems a little weird, but it's your body. You can put whatever you want on your body.
Well, it's like they had a tattoo artist at E3, and they would be like, "Hey, we're giving away tattoos for free, but the only tattoo you can get is the G4
The
logo."
G4 logo, yeah.
Or whatever it was. It might not have been G4, so I don't want to defame them if I've got that wrong, but it should be easy to look up online. I think I heard about it through a Retronauts or something like that, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds a little skeevy, but at the same time, it sounds pretty amusing. Again, if that's what you want to put on your body, then go ahead and put it on your body. I'm not gonna judge you. There are certainly worse tattoos to get. Like My Little Pony tattoos. Calling them all them bronies out.
I think our music stopped. I probably didn't have it on loop or something. Yeah.
No idea. Well, it is now 5 if you wanted to wrap things up.
Well,
What-
we ran out of time quick today. I kind of felt like I was on a bit of a roll, but I'll work on this again soon. Maybe have a lot
Alright.
more done by next week so we can show it off. Next week it'll be getting close to Kickstarter update time.
Yeah.
Let's see, yeah, so it would be, a week from Monday, or I guess a week from Monday is the last day of the month.
Yes.
So we've got like a week to finish the write-up and all that.
Yeah.
Let's see what Blast looks like. They got a little crazy, but we'll see what happens here.
I think it looks cool.
Might be a little too wide. Actually, if I remove, well, maybe I'll just merge that in like this. Yeah, I think it's just got like a few too many sparks, so I'll probably do something to simplify.
So what time will we be changing for Saturday?
Oh, well, I guess, what time is good for you or for anyone else?
Any time is good for me.
I mean, are you okay with that change, I guess was...
Yeah.
Okay. Probably like a 1 o'clock sort of thing, because then we kind of like everyone's kind of working on their stuff and ready to go. That might
1
be
o'clock
good.
your time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's noon your time.
Depends on the daylight savings time, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it'll get screwy here next month, but only for a month or something, right? Or do you not do daylight savings at all? Oh, sorry, I forgot.
We don't do daylight savings time.
Okay, so I guess it'll be.
You're either
Well-
you're an hour or 2 hours ahead of me.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
now it's
okay.
5. You're 2 hours ahead of me right now. Next
Oh,
month
I
will
didn't
be an
realize
hour
that.
ahead of me. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I don't want to do it like during your lunch hour on Saturdays unless you're okay with eating.
I don't have a
early or
I don't have a lunch hour.
Yeah, well, I guess you're kind of like, you seem like the kind of person who I can kind of be this way sometimes too, but where you're basically a house cat. You kind of sleep when you want to, eat when you want to, and just
Yeah.
like, on
Pretty much.
whatever schedule your body decides to be on that day.
Yeah, for the most part, I've been actually going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. I didn't today because I was just like, well, I know the stream starts at 1, so I'm just gonna sleep until 12:30. Which wasn't good. I should have woken up and had a shower and had breakfast because I'm usually more alert for the streams. But I usually run my my AC pretty cold, so the apartment was like freezing. I was like, I could get up, or I could stay in the bed that's like super warm.
It's bad when like during the middle of summer we're like, it's too cold out there in my house. I don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have the air conditioning on, I wouldn't want to be in bed ever because it'd be baking.
Yeah, your bed would be the bathtub full of ice cold water or something.
Yeah. Because otherwise it'd be a bathtub, or I guess like a sponge of sweat, which is gross.
Yeah.
I hate sleeping in the heat. That's one
Yeah,
thing I don't miss
Yeah,
about
I
living
think
in the Midwest.
being warm makes a lot of people sleepy. I guess it can make me drowsy, but it doesn't really make me want to sleep. It just makes me mad.
Yeah. Yep. The muggy air, it infuriates.
So basically, I'm like a 2-year-old.
Yep. It's alright though, I completely understand. I have a problem getting to sleep if my feet are warm. Like, too warm. Like, people who wear socks to bed, I don't understand that.
So basically, if someone wanted to torture you by, not allowing you to sleep, they just put, put an electric blanket on your feet.
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad. I'd throw it away. I'd throw it at people. I don't like my feet being warm. Which is, I don't understand where that compulsion comes from, but maybe I don't need to. Maybe it's just one of those weird psychological things. I also don't sleep with a pillow. Like
That,
pillows, like pillows on the bed bother me. I don't like my hands touching pillows or anything like that. I mean, I sleep on my stomach, so if I slept with a pillow, I'd like smother myself.
Yeah,
I don't
used
even
to
remember.
I used to sleep on my stomach and just get cricks in my neck because my head would be turned.
Yeah, I don't even
We
remember.
talked about the weirdest things on these streams.
We do.
I'm
but
glad we only
people
have
seem to
like
enjoy
5
it.
people watching.
Oh,
Otherwise,
well, I
might
mean,
be
we get
embarrassed.
we get tons of views other places, I'm sure.
Do we?
I haven't really looked at the YouTube analytics, but I'm pretty sure we get more views on YouTube. I can check.
Yeah, I'd be
if,
curious. I haven't looked recently. It's like I got everything set up and then I'm like, see you later, YouTube.
You guys have been getting subscribers.
Oh, cool.
Let's take a look. I can check that out. You guys aren't partnered though.
I don't really know what that means.
This means you can put ads on your YouTube video.
Oh, well, that's, yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm not really sure if we should, on our streams for our company. Like, I mean, making a couple bucks would be cool, I suppose, but it's like, well, we're here to like showcase our own game, not to make money off of the stream. But at the same time, it's like, well, if we get a couple bucks from some other company,
Right.
or whatever.
So
It's just going to go towards the game, so I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing ever.
right. So when I uploaded a ton in a row, views were pretty low. But now that I'm doing it on the week, you guys are getting like 18 to 20 views per video.
Cool.
So there's that. That's pretty cool.
I think Blast actually like needs to be a little simpler and needs some shockwavy things. Like
I think it
that.
looks cool. You should make them all not mirrored and screw with people with OCD.
Just make them a little bit off.
Yeah. Just drive people completely bananas. Me included. That's not really OCD. OCD is like an actual like crippling psychological thing, but
The arcane symbol, because I closed off the center, I thought it looked kind of weird when the two lines didn't touch the circle, and now it just reminds me of the X-Men logo, but I kind of like it.
I think it looks cool. I like all of them so far.
Oh, well, we should probably wrap up.
I was say
I mean,
it's now almost
Yeah,
5:30.
I got 4 of them mostly done, so that's pretty good progress, especially since Aaron was on for a while too. So I
Yeah,
would say that's a successful stream.
yeah, we did good. But yeah, grab the Splendor and Merc one for the thumbnail. I think would be cool.
I should probably make one of these needs to be a little smaller, so I'll probably just make Merc little.
Doom is making fun of me for playing Dark Souls 2 and being OCD on one of the areas. That area is awful, and if Mike, the Classy Dicks TV, is here, he can commiserate. It's called Black Gulch, and there's like these annoying statues that spit poison at you. They're just constantly poisoning you. So I decided, well, if that's the way that was going to be, I was just going to go through and break every single one of them. So I did. Multiple times.
Break every single what? Sorry.
But these statues that spit poison at you, and it's
Oh.
really aggravating. Just not a fun level. The Black Gulch is awful.
I was wondering about doing something kind of like this. I don't know. You'll have to wait for the stream
Yeah,
to catch up, probably.
Yep. Oh no, I am just awful, according to Mike. Which I saw coming. You're a pro, uh-huh. Oh yeah, I like that, that's cool. Totally go for that. Yeah, Mike is probably the best person I've ever seen play video games. I don't think he's ever had problems. I'm jealous of his skill. He's been lurking this whole time, Doom. Don't let him fool you. Yeah, I like that for a thumbnail. That's pretty cool. Don't be jelly. I'm not. I am. I can't not be after seeing how awesome you are, Mike. Especially in Darkest Dungeon, which I think at this point is an inside joke on the stream. things like the viewer list, I have it up always so that I know who and what is going through here. Because it's important. My sarcasm meter is breaking.
Huh.
I'm never sarcastic. He's saying I'm being sarcastic, but I'm never sarcastic. I don't even know what that word means. What does sarcasm mean?
So meta.
Yeah. But no, really.
I just reorganized Dropbox and now I don't know where certain things are. But I think it made duplicates of things, so that makes it harder for me. Well, crap. Okay. So I'm making the YouTube template. Is there anything that like covers the corners of the YouTube image when you post it? Like,
What do you mean?
should I avoid, like, does YouTube put some info down here on the bottom or
No.
or in the top right corner or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I forgot to add the thumbnail on the last one that I put up on the forum, so I need to do that as well.
Oh, good. This is still a smart object. Do they allow you to put URLs like this on here? Is that okay?
I've never seen it not be a problem.
Huh?
I've never seen it be a problem.
Okay, you just did it. My brain got confused with the double negative.
Sorry. I should have phrased it. I've never seen someone do it, but I don't see why it would be a problem.
Ah. Well, maybe you've never seen anyone do it because YouTube bans it. That's more what I'm kind of wondering.
I doubt it. I doubt they would ban that.
Well, we will find out, I suppose.
I had sticky tofu for the first time last weekend. On Sunday, I guess it would have been.
Sticky tofu, huh?
No, not sticky. Stinky.
Stinky.
It's rotting tofu.
Okay.
Not good.
Okay.
You should give it a try.
Nope.
So that's what we'll do with a 24-hour stream when I come to Springfield. I'll just bring all the terrible things that I've had to endure, and you guys can all try it. That one probably being the worst of them. And also freeze-dried durian, which is the thing I was uploading to test out the thumbnail stuff. And it was pretty gross too. It was like banana custard meets onion.
Yeah, none of those things sound appealing to me.
No. Mixed with a little bit of like foot taste. It's pretty not good. But people love it, and I don't understand. People eat some weird things. Oh, apparently Doom is eating it. I didn't get it fresh. I wouldn't mind trying it fresh. Maybe it doesn't have the foot taste that the freeze-dried stuff had. I'm surprised you got durian in the land that you live in, Doom. I would think that would be relatively difficult to do. Up there in the mountains where it's cold. It's a tropical fruit. I suppose with our modern convenience stores, it wouldn't be too difficult to get that sort of stuff, though, I guess. Do you guys have like any ethnic markets in Springfield?
Yeah, there are some Asian markets. There's a pretty decent Asian population in the area. So I think those are, I'm having some trouble with trying to do just like I just want a gradient Photoshop.
Was it a hotel bar? Weird, Doom. You have a sizable Asian population in Springfield.
Yeah, I mean, I think considering we're in the middle of the Midwest, I think it's probably more sizable than one would expect.
Mm-hmm. The place I went was Vietnamese, Laotian, Vietnamese, and the Philippines mostly. It's called the Mekong Palace. And it's not just a convenience store. It's like specialty shops for clothing and all sorts of things. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of food places, but got an amazing sandwich there. Oh my god, Twitch is so different not on the iPad. Yep, yeah, it's nice not being on mobile Twitch. Should work a lot better for you too. And everyone is so much bigger. The joys of a new computer. Having a fun time there, Baker?
Oh yeah, just wrangling with these with this vignette and everything.
I didn't mean to give you so much extra work.
Yeah, this is just what happens. Well, I mean, it's the first time that I'm making this template, so...
Yeah. Looks good, though.
I wonder if we need something in the background. I hate the deal where you like take something like this and blow it up to a much larger size, but I might cheat and do that this once.
I think people will forgive you. It's just the reason I suggested doing thumbnails is because it usually gets more views
Yeah.
if you have just an actual thumbnail instead of just a screenshot of what was in the video.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe on the other side, like where you have the thumbnail or the links and stuff, maybe you could have like a half of the Delver. Does that make sense? So we could make one for each, then we could just like mix and, you know, cycle them.
You mean for next week or something, or?
Oh, yeah, just for I guess just for the template. It's like just like divide the rogue in half and have half of it on the right side for like a background image, and like give it some fade.
Yeah,
but that way
it would make it a little easier for me if we did have some kind of standardization type thing.
Yeah.
Why is this not working? Oh, that's... yeah.
But I think that'd be cool to do then with all the classes, so that people would actually like see the classes as like central to the game. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
We can try it out next week though. You don't have to try it now, since it's almost 5:30, and I'm sure you want to eat and stuff.
It's working a little better.
And the first game that Nadrog is going to play on Steam is Rocket League. Would be my guess. If she's still in chat. So did you hear that they're doing a Minecraft movie?
I don't know. I feel like I've heard that a few times.
They have a director for it. Now, it's gonna be the guy who created Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Weird.
Yeah, I think it's real interesting. I have no idea what it's gonna... I mean, Telltale's gonna make a Minecraft game.
I mean, it's... yeah, at this point, Minecraft is like a... it's like an institution. You know, it's a mega
phenomenon.
franchise.
Yeah. Delver's Drop will reach it one day. You'll have a mansion on the Rhine, and Doom and I will tell stories of how we knew you before you got money.
It's so weird, like the whole like, oh yeah, I knew that person before they were rich sort of idea. It's like,
yeah.
Well, now that I'm rich, you know, I vanished from reality.
It's just a different, you know, money changes a lot of people. It doesn't always, but you can make your mansion next to Notch when Microsoft buys you out. My dad actually called me about that.
About the Minecraft movie, or?
Oh, the Minecraft buyout.
Oh.
Because, you know, he does a lot of, like, financial stuff, being a lawyer. Or having been a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
He called me. He's like, "What's this about?" Well, he first wanted to know about Amazon buying Twitch because he didn't know what that was. So I explained that to him. And he's like, "When what's Microsoft buying Mojang, something? I forget how he pronounced it, but it was really like badly mangled." And he's like, "I'm like, yep, it's a video game." He's like, "But they're paying billions of dollars for it." I'm like, "Yep." Because that game has made billions of dollars at this point. It's like, why would they want to buy that company for so much money? That's totally a bad move. I don't think it is. I think Microsoft made a smart decision.
They definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah. I knew Baker before he changed his name to Grandmaster B. As Doom. Doom and I can be the Delver's Drop hipsters. We knew it. We knew Delver's Drop before it was Delver's Drop 5. Where they invented bouncy castles. I don't know, I just picked something out of thin air that I thought would sound goofy and not congruent with the game.
Now I need to find the actual, like, not a literal X character, but it's like a perfect, like a time sign. We've got to pull that off of a web page here. Because I don't remember the shortcut key for it.
In Photoshop?
Well, Mac, you know, there are tons of shortcuts for doing symbols, and I just don't have that one memorized. I thought maybe it would be Option X or something.
Right. Yeah, I can't help you there. I've never used the Mac, really.
So I'm looking at this web page where you can copy mathematical symbols and, well, basically just everything in the character set. It just lists them all, and then you copy what you need.
Right.
But then it's hard to find. Like, you know, I need one of these things except just an X. I've probably already passed it.
Yeah.
Or I thought maybe it'd be here with plus and divide and all that. There we go. Well, that apparently doesn't work for that, for this font.
Doom is saying that Notch profited a lot by the Microsoft buyout, and yes, he did. Honestly, when it comes, I mean, it's one of those like $1 million butt questions. It's like, unless the thing is like totally ridiculous, after you start getting into the millions of dollars range, it really stops being a point of pride and being a point of, can I take care of myself and my family for the rest of my life? I think like people are like, who were up in arms about the buyout, like, I can't believe Notch sold his small indie game company to the man, Microsoft. It's like, no, I understand. It's like they sold it for $3 billion, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I forget how much money Notch got, but he got a good portion of it. I mean, I'm sorry, but $100 million? At that point, it really stops becoming a point of pride. If someone paid me $100 million for an idea that I had.
Well, and Minecraft became bigger than he ever really expected it to be, so it's like, you know, basically he was thrust in a position where it's, you know, suddenly like you start like a little indie game company and, hey, this is an experimental thing, we think maybe it'll be pretty, you know, pretty fun, we like it. And then it just, you know, basically then it's basically like, oh, I think I'll run for mayor. Like, you, sir, are now president of the United States. Here are the codes to, you know, the nuclear missiles. And
yeah,
it's just like, it was, yeah, I mean, like a level of kind of like both spotlight and just responsibility that it sounded like he didn't really want. And I
Yeah.
think, you know yourself, know what's good for you and what's not, and do what you need to do.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
yeah, it's not like he ever made some contract with his fans that said, I will always be an indie game developer and I will always make sure Minecraft is independent, and it was just
Well, the thing is, like, now he has all this money, and now if he wants to make another indie game, now he can.
Mhm.
You know, he paid for his security. It's like, yeah, he sold the game that got him big, and you guys are still playing it, but you know, if he's really, I mean, excuse me, personal opinions aside, if you are a fan of Notch and the games that he's made, then this was a great move for him. The Doom says it best. You can make games all day at home. So yeah, I mean, he can make the small games that he wanted to make and not ever have to worry about, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to eat tomorrow if I don't, like, get this on Steam or something. Which a lot of indie developers have to deal with, so... I mean, I honestly... I mean, I like Minecraft, but every other game that Mojang had made, I think weren't that great. And I don't think Minecraft is... Minecraft could have been made by anybody and would have been as big as it was. I don't think it was because Mojang made it. And Ved, I almost can guarantee that if another company had made Minecraft, I think it might have gotten even bigger, even faster.
Yeah, but I think a game like that wouldn't, like, no company would ever have put money behind it if you just showed them, like, oh, this blocky, very simplistic art style. Like, no EA would have ever.
Oh no, I mean,
an
indie company would have had to have made Minecraft for sure. There's no way a AAA company would have made Minecraft. I'm just saying, there are better indie game companies out there when it comes to coding and that sort of thing than Mojang, because it's all Java and it's all kind of rough, and the modding community has made Minecraft what it is, and they did it in large portion of in reality of just going in and actually fixing all the bad coding that they've put into the game. Like there are things that they never thought were possible that there are people in their basements that are doing with the game.
There are a lot of, and this is something like we probably need to learn at some point, but there are a lot of indie companies that make a killing and make really good games with much simpler tools and like things that were like, why would you ever make a game in Java?
Right.
Or why would you ever make a retail game in GameMaker, or whatever it is, but people do it and make tons of money doing it, and the games are successful. And I mean, yeah, like objectively speaking, there you can make, like, there are a lot of problems you can avoid by doing it in native languages and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, we are still making our game, partly because of those reasons. So
right. I think you guys will stand the testament of time. I think once it comes out, people will understand what the wait was for. Because I'm ever the optimist, I suppose.
yeah.
But I do. I mean, I firmly believe that. I think once people get their hands on the game, they'll understand. They may not be happy about it still, but I think that
we're getting to a point soon that I think people will be have something to be excited about again.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, I'm excited knowing what I know. So.
Well, and just hopefully the stuff we showed today and recently with level generation and all that is a good reason for people to, well, hopefully have a little more, have continued faith and keep following it.
Hopefully. I firmly believe in the game and what you guys.
I shouldn't need to be such an apologist on my own stream, I suppose, but
No, if anything, you should be like, yeah, we're awesome. You know, totally play it up.